treasurer's report, bills, counting taxes. January is school board recognition month, and traditionally, I believe it's the student council. The student council from the high school comes in and does a presentation thanking you as school board members for your voluntary service to our community and our school. We have a teacher recognition. Kathleen Riley was had a program put literally on PSEA's website for music education at the elementary level. We have the student recognition and a recognition of the public enrollment report, which does remind me. Roger, you asked about how many kids came in, how many left, how many in the prior year. 14-15, we had 179 new students move in, 216 transferred out, and then the difference between the graduating class of 178 and the kindergarten class of 104 coming in was an additional 74 kids lost. So that's where the 113 kids.
That's not my question. My question was, how many of them that actually left the district and came back?
Oh, on an individual basis.
Yeah, like I'll tell you right now.
Re-enrolled here.
Yeah, three of my
Sorry.
nieces and nephews, they moved out of the area 2 months ago, and now they're back again.
Okay.
I just wanted to know how many people
Okay.
thought that the district was,
Well, and it's not, it's the same kids from the back.
in this particular instance, but I just wanted to know of the
Okay.
others.
All right, well then I misunderstood, because we had 179 new students and 216 transferred out. And what you're really asking is of those 216 transferred out, were some of them part of the 179
That came back, right,
in?
right.
All right, well, then I'll have to report back to you on that.
We'll have that for Monday.
Yeah,
Sorry about
we'll
that.
look-
I
we'll look at
misunderstood
that.
too.
And then obviously graduating, the senior graduating class of 178 and the incoming kindergarten class of 102 is, that's significant. And that's going to continue.
Roger, that's very difficult in terms of, do you wanna just know, like, they come in now a lot. I mean, they may come for kindergarten and they may be here till second grade and they leave and they come back in sixth, the same, it's very, very difficult.
Do you keep the same student number?
No.
Yeah, actually
do?
now they do, they get a PA Secure ID, and that carries forward with them, like their entire school career, whether they're here or they're at another district.
But that just started, you
just
just
started.
have that for.
And there used to be re-enrollment.
Oh, seven.
07
Well,
that started, so
that's a
it
start.
just.
Okay.
It did, yeah, PA Secure ID started in 07-08 school
Okay.
year.
I know they eliminated re-enrollment codes.
I
Yeah,
guess really
but the
what I'm
codes
asking
we
is,
don't
I wanna
have.
know how many moms and dads think that this is such a horrible place to live, move out, and then all of a sudden, hey, it's not so bad, and
Not so
come
bad
back.
here.
Yeah.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah,
You know?
Okay,
yeah.
okay. We'll get that. Thanks, I didn't know that there
Yep,
was a
no,
PA
that's,
code.
yeah, that's different.
I used to have to do child accounting, and it wasn't in the
Yeah.
past. That budget resolution, which is item number 12 at the bottom of page 2, that is the one that the index is 2.4, and we just have to say if we're gonna live within the index or not. And again, because of the strain to the taxpayers over the last couple of years with the tax increases that we put on, and the current financial situation that dramatically improved, we feel that we're gonna be able to live within that index, including the exceptions.
What would the final exception percentage be on top of that? Because
some estimates, I didn't-
all we're doing is telling the state what the most that we're gonna, the most that we would be willing to.
Right, so with the 2.4 is our Act 1 index for
Mhm.
16-17, and that 2.4% would generate about $580,000 in tax revenue, if we took the entire Act 1 index to increase our taxes.
Right.
I didn't do a calculation on the special ed because we don't have the numbers from the state yet. If our special ed expenses from 13-14 to 14-15 didn't increase significantly, we wouldn't be eligible for that one. So that one I didn't do a calc on. I did it on the retirement, and the retirement would give another 1.2% increase above the Act 1 index.
What was it, 1.2?
Last year's was
1.2.
1.3, right?
And this is the last year for this,
Yeah.
right?
Yes, I believe it is the 16-17, because that's the last year of a significant
Significant
increase in the retirement rate. Because we'll go from,
29 to
it goes
couple
like,
of years.
like half percentages each year instead of going, because this year it's 25, it's going from 25 to 29.
I'm not looking to raise taxes, but I'm also nervous that we don't know diddly from the state, you know? But other than the fact that we know our contribution to the retirement portion is going to increase. I'm just concerned that I don't wanna cut us short on paper at this point. I mean, that's just my concern. I don't know what anyone else feels towards that, but,
I agree with that. I think we're running up a hill that we're never gonna get up, because the fact is that, you know, you can get an increase in basic ed or special ed funding, that's getting eaten away. It's not going to get eaten away, it is eaten away, through pension, through healthcare, all those expenditures that we know are gonna increase. So what does that money really signify? It signifies nothing. And if we were to sit here and try to propagate that it actually does, we would be lying to a whole boatload of people. We really would. Is that money significant, or, it is significant, but the increases we face are equally as significant.
Mhm.
So where's the money gonna come from? And that's why, you know, people, you know, they say, well, you advocate for change when it comes to, you know, funding education. Well, unless we're gonna start legitimately taxing people out of their homes.
no.
Do you know what I mean?
I do,
That's,
I do.
that's the
I
only,
don't-
that's the only
I don't wanna
other
put us
alternative.
in a position now that, where we're gonna be short, you know, cause what this does is we're gonna tell the state, this is the most we're gonna do,
I know.
okay? Doesn't mean we have to do it, it just means this is the most we're going to do. And I'm just nervous about telling the state, this is,
We need to also remember, like with the new contract that's settled, we will have savings from, you know, as people filter out at 65 from current healthcare coverage, we'll have savings there. The retirement incentive that's paid out, you know, we're towards the end of that, and we have a smaller amount that's going to be paid out over a smaller period of time. So there are some things that we will see savings on in that respect too, that are coming up.
if we don't do this, I mean, if we don't take that exception, and we get into a position where the tax base is not, you know, we're gonna run short or whatever, would we consider refinancing some of our debt to make it longer? Would that be
It's a possibility for us to look at. I think the comfort level that I have with being able to live within the index, you know, is multiple fold. You know, we grew the fund balance by $3.9 million this year, of which, you know, literally $2 million of it was unexpected revenue. So you're not gonna get that again.
right?
But we also budgeted for the increases that we got and had to way before we settled the contracts, which the concessions made by both groups are substantially more than what we had budgeted for. And with the fall off of the 3-year payout of the 90% and the healthcare to age 65 with what's peeling off on that in that November or October board meeting when we did the presentation, it's significant. I mean, it's literally, you know, close to $4 million of additional cost savings but it's over a 4-year period, which is gonna be eaten up by the things that AJ just said, the retirement contribution, the existing raises, and the healthcare contributions. But we looked at that and it was still very close to being equal with the expectation of applying that $4 million of cost savings going forward. And continuation of enrollment going down and not replacing positions as they come up. We have a position, we have a teacher retiring, giving us notice of retirement at the end of the year that, you know, depending on where we are with enrollment and the grade level, you know, it might be a position that doesn't get replaced again. And when that happens, that's a $70,000 to $80,000 savings, you know, on, again, could be multiple pieces again. It concerns me, but but nowhere near as what it did when I came in August, because of the concessions that were made by the teachers and the support staff, for the cost savings that we're gonna get over the next 4 years.
And another good point made by you, and I brought it up before, you brought it up when we interviewed you about refinancing our debt because our mortgage payment is so high, and, you know, so we have short-term debt, but we have high payments
Yeah,
to get
for
there.
long-term assets.
And that's a possibility, if we run into a financial snag, to go that way also.
It
What
absolutely
is
is.
it?
I was just repeating
3.6
something that you
billion.
already mentioned, so
Huh?
I was just,
Yeah, and I'm glad you did it though, because it's good that we stay open and
Well,
discuss it,
and-
because it's another alternative.
And it's a great one to segue into what we're looking at with the performance-based energy contract. The way we're gonna be able to do the capital projects that we need to do, the roofs,
Right.
the lighting upgrades, the exterior lighting is disastrous. And the other capital upgrades that we're looking to do that are deferred maintenance type items, will all plug into how are we going to do that without having to raise taxes. And the way we're gonna do it is extend the debt out and use the energy savings that we're gonna get to pay the capitalized interest on that, and if we need to, we'll be able to extend it, instead of 2 years, we might be able to extend it 3. We're still gonna be out of debt in 9 years or less
Short-term stuff.
on a 30, we have a 50-year asset that we have, right now, that we have, 6.5 years of debt left.
Pretty much our buildings are all in good shape. We've done a lot of work on them over the years, and I think the index is high enough with the tax increase, and the people have paid a lot of money over the last couple of years. And it's the negligence of the state of Pennsylvania and their leadership that we're in this situation anyway for the children of public education. And the bottom line is refinancing the debt if need be is still an alternative out there.
well, if you're good with that, with the index,
We've had a lot of discussion on it, and believe me, I'm conservative when it
Okay.
comes to making sure that we don't penalize ourselves and hurt ourselves for the future, and I think that we can comfortably live within the index.
And truly, I believe the morons in Harrisburg, something's gotta come to where they've gotta start funding public education the way it needs to be. The way they talked about early on until they got really down into the nitty gritty, and then all of a sudden they ran for the closets and they went and hid. The bottom line is that they have to do a better job down there for the children of the state of Pennsylvania.
So you're gonna suggest that we refinance the debt going into 16-17?
Depending on how far we go with the
Yeah, because
energy
we
contracts.
can lock something in where we're gonna see significant savings with the energy contract. Your suggestion would be to refinance the debt.
I would say, no, extend
Extend.
debt.
You're gonna
Take
extend
on,
the debt.
take on additional
Make-
debt
Okay.
to
And you're
do
gonna lower
these.
that close to $3.7 million payment that needs to be.
No, not right now, not yet.
Not yet?
Not yet. I want to keep our powder dry as we have to. I want to keep that debt service payment the same by adding 2 years or however much the program's going to cost us in order to do the capital items that we need to do. And then, but not make that any higher in 2022 or 2023, which is right now is 3.6.
Yeah, I think 3.7 something with
3.3,
interest, like
3.692.
3.6 is the principal.
Yeah, so what I want to be able to do is do whatever, and again, we just started this process this week. I have meetings this week with the energy conservation companies, and McClure, Honeywell, Siemens, Johnson Controls, CM3, and Reynolds and Company. There's 6 people who requested to come in and do a walkthrough of our, and get their proposals on what they're suggesting we do to conserve energy, so that we can, complete the 2 big projects are the roofs, the middle school roof, the high school roof, and then, we'll have a list of other things that we might choose to do or not choose to do. Again, none of this is binding, none of it requires bidding, because we're able to get this done through the energy conservation laws. But we will request, and we will have the opportunity to say we really want to use, if we're gonna do any kind of paving and lighting project, that we want to use, you know, we have three major contracting paving contractors that are our taxpayers in our district.
And I don't think we have any opportunity to use PlanCon again, because I think we PlanCon, the
Yep.
R.D. Wilson, the new school,
Correct.
in the middle school basements and stuff like that. The
Correct.
only thing, maybe the high school, or no, not even.
You know what, even, PlanCon really requires you to add educational space, and we're not going to because we don't need it, but you're absolutely right. We've done all the
We've done
PlanCon
that, so
projects
that's
that we've
why we
done.
call it.
Yeah.
And I think there's another, I think there was a deadline if you wanted to do a PlanCon project anyway, which we're past that, I think that was June or July.
Okay.
This past summer, they're not accepting any more PlanCon processes right now.
Okay.
They're kind of,
But what
Then
I
again,
would
until they
suggest,
figure out
and
the whole
getting back to
thing.
your question, is what I'm gonna suggest is, you know, there's a process here through February 18th, that we're gonna meet, you know, exclusively with whoever these 6 companies, they're all registered, they all do it, get their ideas, and then us negotiate with them on what we wanna do, how we wanna do it, when we want it, and there may be pieces that we choose not to do. Or there might be pieces that we say, look, based on this, does it make sense to air condition R.D. Wilson, because it's the only building in the school that's not? I mean, and so, and it can all fall under that envelope of an energy conservation program, and based on what that dollar value was going to be, how far out would we have to extend the debt, not to raise taxes, but not yet refinance, and extend the existing 6.5 years of debt that's there out to a longer term to reduce the actual principal payment and interest payment on an annual basis. I'd like to be able to say, here's what it's gonna take to do $5 million worth of projects. The roofs are 3.5 at least, or maybe more at this point. But then where are we going to be with all these other projects? Do we wanna finish them, or do we wanna hold on them, or do we want to not do them? And then we can determine, here's where we are with our taxation. We're gonna know we're gonna live within the index. You know, assuming we don't, you know, get penalized by the state financially, which I don't think we're going to. And we're in a decent financial shape that we currently are. At that point, if we have to extend the debt later on, you know, next year or the year after, we'll again have plenty of opportunity to do that. And the good news about our fund balance going back up to the reasonable level is we're gonna now get, you know, we're gonna get Moody's and S&P ratings that will allow us to borrow much more cheaply than we would have otherwise. You know, when you look at, there are school districts that their bond ratings have gone down, ours will now go up, because our credit worthiness with our financial condition now is much better than it was at this time last year or the year before. You know, whenever Moody's or S&P sees your fund balance go from $5 million down to $800,000, they think you don't have the willingness and the wherewithal or the business acumen to stop the bleeding, and you did, and we did. So, you know, we're in a situation where we're gonna be able to do some things if we choose to. And if we get into difficulty, in that difficulty scenario will be over a multiple year process. We'll see it, and it will all be driven by what's the state money gonna be. And right now, again, we don't know what it's gonna be. We anticipate that it's not gonna be higher, or not gonna be lower, but we also know that we have significant savings from our contracts, and we also know that if we live within the index, you know, that creates another almost $600,000 in revenue, if we need to.
I got a hookup from a friend of mine who works for the gas company, UGI, I believe it is, and he gave me the name of a gentleman who runs this Wayne County area.
Great.
And I want to know if you want me to call him. He told me he wanted me to call him. My friend did.
That's great. I called them and waited, and they supposed that, I had the guy's name too, but you have personal contact.
Yeah, I have it right in my phone.
Yeah, that's great.
And I can call him. I want to talk to Mrs. Rollison and then the Waymark.
Yep.
To see if the borough would be willing to,
Yep.
because they're already at the state prison.
They're at the
so-
prison, yeah.
And,
I called them on the 23rd of December and said, you know, R.D.
Yeah.
Wilson's right around the corner.
Yeah, and I had this number before that, and I
And the
just-
borough's there's density there.
Yeah.
It's only another, what is it, a mile and a half?
It's a drop
You
off.
know, and we did a dual fuel system.
Yeah,
to
if
change.
the RD Wilson, it would be
the RD.
great, and if they could come down the highway, maybe if they could see the benefit of it with our middle school, high school, it would be a good thing.
If there's this
Well, I'll give them
facility,
a call.
that'd be great,
And
yeah.
then I'm gonna hook up with
Yeah,
you
well,
from that point.
yeah,
I'll
please.
hook up with-
Please do, yeah, that's great.
Or maybe I'll
This-
give you,
and
maybe I'll
this-
give you a call tomorrow, and then.
Yeah, okay,
Okay, maybe we can just sit together when you call.
sure,
Okay.
sure. That'd be, and that is one of the questions that the energy conservation companies are asking, how far is the nearest gas line? Said, it's really close to RD Wilson.
It's been on my mind a long time also, with
It
way
could
more
be-
heating
it could
gas
be
and all that, also
dramatically-
with the benefit to
Yep.
to the school district.
It could be dramatic to
I've
the
got a very
savings.
strong contact in UGI too, so.
Okay.
Yeah,
I can help.
Yeah,
please,
okay.
yeah, please do. I mean, it would be a dramatic improvement from an energy cost when
And the gas
you're
is
in
so
the
low
business.
right now because of the Marcellus Shale
And it will be
and
for a long
everything else,
time.
And it should
And
be for it
it's efficient, you know, it certainly is less polluting, and the supply is, you know, there's a 100-year supply supposedly close by.
So you said
yeah.
polluting, do you want to get into global warming now?
No, I don't wanna go there.
Because I'm so confused,
I don't wanna
maybe
go
you
there.
can help me.
I don't
out,
wanna go
because-
there, no. But it's significant, I mean, the cost per per million BTU is down to like, and it jumped a little bit here, it's like 229 in the futures market today.
And-
And it was $15 per million BTU back in 2000. So it's significantly proportionally less than. Yeah. Well, yeah, people who have gas wells that used to get $50,000 a month checks are now getting $10,000 a month.
A year and a half
Still
ago,
great.
there was a representative from Johnson Controls that came here. He was looking to do an energy audit. Did you get into that?
We had Johnson Control and McClure,
Which
both
is
came in and
good.
did presentations to the board at the time. But we didn't move forward with anything, just other than an initial presentation.
Okay.
But we were looking at that again, because we feel that we still. could
I thought the way we
benefit
did it was a little overwhelming at that time too, we
Yeah.
really need to break it down
And we're taking our time. I've been talking with everybody since September on it, and bringing all of them in for the recommendation. The good part about doing it in this process is we get every one of those recommendations individually. So there, you know, the people who are the experts in the industry, you know, Johnson Control might say you should be doing this, and if we had an architect write a spec and it wasn't in there, then everybody wouldn't bid on that. So we can say, no, yeah, that makes great sense. Why didn't Honeywell tell us that, or why didn't McClure tell us that? We can actually cherry pick all of the good ideas and then go back and negotiate with all of them again. To say, you know, your competitor says this is the way to generate the most amount of savings.
and that's how you save money, the way you want to do it.
And then you get the opportunity to say, we really want to use whoever's the local distributor of Johnson Controls or Honeywell Controls, because we have a good track history with them, to say we want to use them. And so, you know, it's a real effective manner to get good information and then get really good execution and pricing, because you can negotiate with each one of them. And it's a big project, and our big concern is you know, the condition of the roof, especially at the high school, but at the middle school also, and lighting upgrades. Lighting upgrades and pump power, you know, sewage treatment pump